Okay, we're back.
We're back. Lethal Comics, part two.
Part two.
Jim Lee.
Jim Lee, part two.
Jim Lee, part two.
The episode that was too big for one part. In fact, we're probably going to go 3 parts of this, right?
Easily 3 parts. It was the beginning of Jim Lee, and then X-Men was too much. And we still don't have all the X-Men that we need to do today, but we're going to get into...
We started talking about X-Men. We're gonna keep this confined to his Uncanny X-Men run because, and maybe a little bit of extra stuff, because for some reason, unbelievably, we don't have a copy of X-Men #1 here. The best-selling copy of all time. You could probably throw a rock out the window and hit one.
It's over there, yeah.
And we don't have one in the studio.
8 million copies.
Yeah, 8 million copies sold.
I'm going to say this.
Somehow we don't
People keep stealing it from us.
No, I have like several copies of them.
Can we just say that people keep stealing it from us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of parties here at the studio.
That's right.
And that's the first thing
how many copies have we had stolen? 6.
Easily 6.
6.
Yeah.
6 copies have gone missing, even though that comic is in the millions. I
have copies of it in my older collection at my parents' house.
It may even be in one of these books.
Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff. We've got this here.
That's what we got.
While we're not going to look at X-Men #1 here, that might be its own episode, in fact.
Well, we can lead into Jim Lee Part 3 when he gets into Image, because that part where he gets into Image is born out of his rebirth.
In fact, X-Men #1 is close to being an Image style book.
That's right.
Like, it feels like a massive departure from Uncanny X-Men.
That's right.
In subtle ways and in not so subtle ways.
I think probably if Jim Lee hadn't have redone the X-Men rebirth of #1, if he hadn't done that, would he have had the guts to do Image?
If he hadn't sold 8 million
and I'm not saying he was a coward. I'm saying he's a man that likes a sure thing, I think. I know he likes to gamble, but he's also a guy that, when it comes to business, I think he wants to see the numbers. He wants it to be like 100%. If I went here, I know I'm gonna crush.
I'm sure.
What do you think?
I'm sure it was a shrewd decision.
Right.
However it came down.
That's right.
I mean, I think those guys all crunched the numbers and realized that, look, even if we do these Image books and they sell like shit, we're still going to be doing okay. Even if they sell like 1/10 of the numbers, we're still keeping everything, so we're going to be okay. Also, is anyone not going to hire back Jim Lee?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's not even really a gamble.
Right. That makes sense.
Could do anything he wanted. You know?
So last episode. Last time we ended with X-Men 272, my favorite comic book of all time. I don't know where it is now. It's disappeared.
It's somewhere in the pile.
It is here somewhere. Here. There it is. X-Men 272. This is where we ended off.
Yes, but we're not going chronologically here. We're looking at the span of Uncanny X-Men, which we consider and many consider to be peak Jim Lee.
It is peak Jim Lee.
Some people say it's Hush. I say it's this.
I say it's X-Men. I think saying it's Hush is a little silly.
I think we're going to start by looking at this guy.
All right, that's your favorite of all time.
It's not necessarily. No, I mean, that's
the one that lit your fire.
The thing is, this kind of lit the fire. But part of the reason we're doing this is that I can't pick a favorite of all time. There are at least half a dozen bangers in this run that are just perfect.
This is a banger. Yeah. This is a banger. This is a banger.
That's why we're doing this as its own episode, because we want to talk about a lot of these. But
this guy right here, that's a banger.
But I want to start with this because
that's a banger.
Because this was, I think, many people's reintroduction to X-Men and introduction to Jim Lee on X-Men.
Yep.
So the cover alone is iconic.
Iconic cover, so cool. All of a sudden, you've got X-Men. Who shows up? Cap.
Captain America, Black Widow.
So cool.
You got your Jim Lee, Scott Williams jam here.
Oh, it's so dope. Look at that shot of Cap.
A lot of this episode, let me just bury the lead here by telling you that a lot of this episode is going to be us stopping on every page and talking about how amazing it is.
This is some of the best comic books ever, but also...
That's not burying the lead, is it? Burying the lead would be not telling you.
That's right. But what I would say is this is the stuff that when we were kids, it was so hot and we were so into it that it pretty much ignited an absolute like lifetime love of comics and making comics in the two of us.
Also,
this is the stuff that got us into making comics.
It also redefined an era of Marvel because all of these images became like the masthead images for Marvel Comics. Like these were on posters, they were on T-shirts, this was the picture of Captain America for a long time.
Who are you seeing here? Jim Lee kicking ass, but I see some Arthur Adams.
Yeah,
I see some Kirby.
A lot of the Image guys like Jim and Rob and all those guys, they were doing kind of like John Byrne, Art Adams mashups with a bit of like Michael Golden, a bit of Barry Windsor-Smith in there in like some of the rendering, and others.
Yeah.
John Byrne, probably some Neil Adams somewhere. But yeah, we're starting with Cap here, and again, again, I have to
ninjas.
So,
can I just take an aside?
These are Frank Miller ninjas.
That's right. These are Frank Miller ninjas, but I just want to take an aside and say to you, you and I need to make a ninja comic.
Yes, we do.
We need to make a ninja comic really bad. There's never enough ninja comics, and you and I need to make a ninja comic.
I couldn't tell you the last great ninja comic.
I can't think of it. The only ninja comics I can think of are Ninjak and Whisper, and that's all I can think of.
I just go straight to Frank Miller.
Yeah, Frank Miller, yeah. Daredevil stuff.
Daredevil
Electra
stuff, Electra Assassin.
Yeah.
That'll be its own episode.
But, yeah, you keep saying that.
Yeah.
Didn't we already go through it, though?
We didn't look at Electra Assassin.
No, we didn't look at Electra. We looked at...
we looked at Electra Lives Again.
Yes,
Electra Assassin is its own amazing thing.
Oh, look at that dope shot.
One of the cool things about this isn't so much about Jim Lee as it is about like the X-Men. Like the whole idea, stories about Logan being like in different eras, like the idea of like reinforcing how old he is and how long he's been around by sticking him in like World War II scenarios, always super cool.
I really enjoyed in the Deadpool Wolverine when he mentions that he's 200 years old.
Yeah.
And that he's never met a bigger asshole than Deadpool. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. More classic Wolverine. One thing about early Jim on Uncanny is some of the faces and angles are different. Like you're not going to see this face. And this face, we're going to look at a couple of comics next, which is like the origin story. This is 268. So actually the issues that came before this are, when they transformed Psylocke, Betsy Braddock, into this Asian ninja Psylocke. And you're going to see a lot of faces like this, which sort of disappear after a while.
Mm-hmm. Black Widow, so cool.
Yeah. Great moments in here too.
Also, he kind of has like this whole Indiana Jones vibe.
Completely. Yeah. He's got
this pretty funny.
This like bomber jacket,
yeah,
aviator jacket, and cowboy hat. I'm surprised you're not wearing a cowboy hat for this episode.
Yeah, I could wear a cowboy hat for this episode.
Yeah. What can we say about this? This one, this moment I always look to of like Jubilee.
Where are they in this? Are they in Madripoor in this?
I think so. Do you remember this sequence where like Jubilee's sitting here between Black Widow and Psylocke, looking at their cleavage?
Oh yeah, right.
And then looking down her own shirt, being pissed that bummed out that she doesn't have big boobs.
Oh.
Yeah. Hilarious. More speed lines. Nazis.
Oh, we got some Nazis. Maybe that's why he looks like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, this is kind of like an Indiana Jones romp.
Oh, I love this image.
Cool lighting on this.
So
Look at
cool.
this. That's a Frank Miller face.
Yep. Look at this Nazi muffin.
Mm-hmm.
Cap's gonna destroy that fool. Does he? Also, I love. This was an era, especially in 272, where Jim Lee and the crew started underlighting everything. The light coming from up.
That underlighting,
and then doing this underlighting thing.
I associate that with Art Adams.
Okay.
Because he underlights everything to great effect.
Charles Burns used to do it a lot too.
Yeah.
But that underlighting stuff, I used to copy that one as a kid a lot, and I haven't done it in a long time. I'm thinking about getting into it now that I look at that. Need some good underlighting.
I like these heavy black borders.
Yeah, they're cool. He looks like a vampire. Just gone completely feral. Turns into like this weird werewolf vampire. Oh, and there's Psylocke using her psychic powers. And look at Cap. So cool.
I feel like some of this like smarmy, scrappy Logan stuff has been lost.
I think so
over the
too.
years.
Yeah, he's too serious now.
Yeah, he's too.
Yeah.
He's a little too worldly.
Jim Lee drew him pretty scrappy.
Yeah.
He was good.
These are the issues.
What a great comic.
These are the issues that lead up to that, and
Okay.
I want to look at them because they are artistically interesting in that, like, so here, even on this cover.
So this is like classic Psylocke from
Well, this is Psylocke.
Excalibur?
No, Psylocke was in the X-Men. Betsy Braddock was in the X-Men, but in her kind of like flowy, purpley.
Yeah, the
cape.
blouse looking thing.
And this is none of that. This is like what she got captured by the hand or something and put in this getup.
yeah.
But I remember.
Oh, they actually, it is the hand. It is
Yeah.
Frank Miller's Ninjas.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the reasons I think this is so cool is because there are different stylistic. Here's your page layout again.
Okay, so
Your Punisher page layout.
let's get into that now that we're in Jim Lee Part 2. Jim Lee, if you watch a lot of interviews and you look at modern comics, he teaches you that you should keep straight ahead storytelling, but on every page there should be one breakaway panel. Some panel that either doesn't have borders, or you break borders, or there's a giant hero shot, and that has become like kind of like a staple of guys who follow Jim Lee. I do it myself. I normally like try to have one panel that's going to be borderless, and it's the panel in that page that has the most oomph. It's the story beat that has the most importance inside of that. I've watched interviews of him talking about it. Mm-hmm. If you look at, say, modern comic book artists like Stuart Immonen or Olivier Coipel or even like Jorge Jimenez, this is Jorge Jimenez just looking at Jim Lee, making sure that on every single page he does that big hero shot. Why? I don't know why Jorge does it, because he doesn't do anything like on paper. But the reason Jim does it is every time there's a big hero shot on that page, that's the page he's going to sell, the original.
You could definitely speculate that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure yes, for sure, it is affecting the sales of like resale of original art, but also like I also predominantly work digitally too, and I'm not always conscious of having an anchor panel like that where it's like a big hero shot or anything, but I am conscious
Anchor
always
panel.
of like what the most important panel on that page is, and the fact that the storytelling revolves around this sort of focal point, or this that, like you're giving more importance to a certain moment of time.
This is maybe one of the most quintessential or stereotypical Jim Lee pages. It has like a giant full shot of
full
the character,
figure on the
full
side,
figure,
inset
and
panels.
and then he'll have some story beats on the page. That's classic Jim Lee. That stuff, from what I heard, just like will sell a page.
Well, also, it
like,
doesn't work so much with this guy because we don't really care so much about him. But it does also like generate a ton of excitement in the reader.
Oh yeah,
especially the
completely.
age, the demographic of readers of this material at the time. Like when you were getting a giant shot of Wolverine or Psylocke or whomever or Captain America, like on a page, like it was, like that's what you like. You were there for the story also, but like getting an electric, amazing image of your favorite characters on every page was something special.
If I work with a writer, I ask for this. I'm like, you got to make sure, if I'm doing a 10-page short story or I'm doing a full issue, I need one to three of these kind of shots where I can show the full character. They work. And even in Mother Trucker, I do it. When later on we get into Hush and it becomes almost 3 panels a page, Hush felt weird to me a lot of times from what I remember, because it was mostly 3 panels, and I think he was thinking like manga has less panels.
I think,
But also, I think it felt like almost too many hero shots. Like it's like too much. I need more story beats.
Yeah, but I
was
think
my problem
I think
with that situation.
My recollection of it is like what you're saying. Like even with the relaunch of X-Men and the Image stuff. Like my recollection is like there were fewer panels on the page and they were all big and splashy. But actually, I think there were still a lot of panels on every page. It's just the shot choices were different and bigger within those panels.
Interesting.
Like
okay.
It's probably not exactly what you remember.
Yeah, I have to. Well, that'll be fun to go back over Hush again.
Yeah, it will be.
So this is when Psylocke becomes Psylocke.
This is all. So this is a lot of flashback.
Is that Khazar?
This is. No, I think that's just a fantasy
okay.
barbarian guy. This is all like young Betsy Braddock and what's his name, Brian Braddock, the guy who becomes.
Captain Britain.
Captain Britain.
Yeah, cool.
Like this is
Who's that Tom Selleck guy?
Maybe their dad.
Oh, it's not Forge.
I don't remember.
It's not Forge kicking it.
This is all like her in her own head.
See, look at this. There it is.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's another full figure.
What's weird is he's breaking the panel down here and nowhere else. I once watched a documentary thing with Bart Sears, and he was like, if you're going to break the panel border, at least do it 3 times. Don't do it once. Yeah, he's like 3 times is like a good compositional thing to break up a border. Never do it just like once out of nowhere. It like kind of like messes with everything. And now that I look at it, it's making me feel weird. Like I feel like I want to see her hair. And it's weird that the hair is doing like a tangent in here.
Yeah, I never noticed that until you pointed it out.
That's bizarre.
I want to know how they justified this whole race change. Like they just like turn her into an Asian lady, and like
is that
somehow,
her there?
Yeah, and somehow that just had to.
That is such a cool drawing.
That had to be written in to make sense.
I dig it.
There's a whole like nightclub of like again Jim Lee drawing the shit out of everything in the background.
Wait a minute, is she like blonde at the beginning?
No, that's
with Braddock. Oh, it's the Road Warriors, greatest tag team of all time.
I don't know who they are.
Oh my gosh.
Here's some more underlighting.
You don't know who the Road Warriors are.
No.
That hurts. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at Colossus.
I like that size difference. Like all this stuff. So what I recalled about...
Is this comic yours or mine?
This is mine. What I recalled about this is that I remember there being... Maybe it was largely on the cover, or maybe it was some of the interior stuff. Like there being some kind of like Mignola influence in his work in some of this early Psylocke stuff.
Cool.
I'm hard pressed to see it now, but
look at that uplight.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, what a crazy panel. That's bananas. Oh, who's this guy again? Man, he looks like Puck.
Does he? I can't remember who that is.
I don't know.
Oh, Slaymaster. I don't know.
Oh, he's a Slaymaster.
I think he's probably going to get killed.
Don't bring that guy around your wife. Look at this. Wow.
So
look, oh, she's got the rock.
Yeah. So there's
fantastic.
This was followed up by the second Psylocke issue.
Oh, we're gonna get some Wolverine.
Oh, here. This is where I saw more Mignola. Like some of the like. This looks like Cosmic Odyssey Mignola.
Yep.
The way these black
super
like, shadows like, like merge into the mouth and stuff like that.
That's a weird drawing to me. I think I've looked at this drawing before and been like, what's happening? Where's her other arm?
I think it hasn't been colored correctly.
Yeah, like every time I look at this, I'm like, where is her left arm?
I think this is a shadow of it here.
That does not look like an arm, bro. Is it meant to be behind her? Is that what's happening? Like it's going behind the butt? I don't know. It just looks like she has no arm.
Let's gloss over that.
Regardless.
Oh, here we go. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
This is a miscolor.
Crazy.
This thing is supposed to be blue helmet up here, I think.
Oh.
But still, like that's a Mike Mignola face.
Yeah, totally. Look at this melee. So good. Great action. That's fantastic. Yeah.
That's kind of one of the other neat things. I mean, not that he's any different from anyone else in this regard, but when like Jim would see other artists who would like interest him and then like incorporate.
Oh yeah. He kind of like see something they were doing and kind of like riff on it himself.
Well, I mean, this looks like Silvestri stuff.
Yeah, totally. Look at that face. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Look at this. Jim Lee always did these super close-ups that were really fantastic. So is this her transformation in this issue?
These 2 issues are her transforming from regular British Betsy Braddock.
Okay, so hang on. We went from Wolverine being Indiana Jones to him being Julian Sands? Like, what's up with this outfit?
I don't know, but I love it.
Look at the collar open.
No, this is the patch Madripoor Wolverine.
Oh, Patch Madripoor. Yeah, so he's like stylish.
Yeah, that's why he's wearing a patch.
He's running around town like he's like, went shopping with David Bowie.
But there's also like ghosts and stuff.
Why is there ghosts?
I think it might be.
He looks like David Bowie. Like David Bowie took him shopping. Here, Logan, try this on. Now you know when to go out, and now you know when to stay in. Get things done.
Dancing in the streets.
Yeah. Dancing in the streets, Logan. Dancing in the streets of Madripoor.
Look at
Look at him. What's he wearing now? He's already got another costume change into. This is my cool red jacket.
Look at this too. Like this Jubilee creation. Jim Lee created Jubilee, right?
Yes,
I
of course.
believe.
I think so.
Was she? Originally, I think she was in the Silvestri issues.
I don't remember that. The only time I remember Jubilee showing up in this way was with Jim Lee.
Yeah, but Jim Lee's Jubilee is just a Carrie Kelly Robin.
Yes.
This is just Robin from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
like from the glasses to the colors
God.
to the gloves. Like the color scheme is even.
Dude, I've not put that together till you just said that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Like seriously, you just like blew my mind right there after like what 30 years.
Well, it can't be more evident than right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like.
Yeah, now that you said that she's like based on that Robin, I'm like, oh my God.
There's a lot of.
It's ridiculous.
She's
totally Robin.
Yeah, between the ninjas and. And Psylocke is basically just Elektra, like down to her. Suit.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like this is all Jim.
Totally, I love this woman.
Re-expressing Frank Miller.
That woman's
stuff.
great.
Yeah, she's cool. Like that's an Elektra costume.
Yeah, there we go.
See, look at his face.
But, yeah.
Not what you'd associate with.
So good. So good.
Just harder lines, you know, like not as soft features.
Yep. Now I can't stop seeing Robin.
I love this.
Like I can't stop seeing Robin at all. It's crazy.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun in these.
Like,
They're very lighthearted.
Oh, here come the ninjas.
That's a different outfit again. That's his Wolverine from his own series costume, right?
Yes.
Like the John Buscema.
Yes, that's the John Buscema one. Yeah. And I
love look at even these eyes are rendered like eyes.
Totally. He loses his hand at some point and gets the crazy hair.
What?
And that was the one from the movie.
That's an Age of Apocalypse.
The Age of Apocalypse, but it's the same costume, like the body costume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Whoa, that's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Is he wearing eye makeup?
No, he's
just drawing him with like these crazy, almost like Lobo-esque
because
eyes.
I think because if you look at the Wolverine series, like Buscema always draws him with this weird hatch shading over his eyes.
Yeah, and Jim.
And as a kid, I remember reading this thinking, it looked like netting over his eyes. Like I didn't know if it was a shadow or if it was
John being John.
But I wanted to look at these because like Jim Lee brought a lot of like Jubilee, Psylocke, like a lot of this stuff to the X-Men roster in his own sort of style, you know.
Yeah, look. Oh, he's just wearing makeup.
Yeah,
Jim Lee's just drawing him wearing makeup.
Like
it's kind of awesome.
Goth Wolverine.
Yeah, it's Goth Wolverine.
So yeah. So that's the setup. Okay, Jim Lee comes on to X-Men. We get like 257.
That's awesome.
257, and then the Captain America one.
The Captain America one.
But then we really get into it. Right?
Let's get into one of my favorite ones. Where did it go? The one with the trippy scene.
Oh,
it's not the oversize.
It was. We're just looking at it. It's this one.
Yes, this one.
Now this is in the middle of like the Shi'ar.
Yeah, so this comes right after. This is 273. That comes right after 272. Now I think after 272, which is probably the most epic comic ever, Jim Lee maybe was like, "Yo, I'm a little burnt out over here." So.
Oh, this is the jam issue.
So this is the jam issue, and if you open it up and you look at here, it's upside down for me. You got the writer
Whilce Portacio,
Klaus Janson,
John Byrne, Rick Leonardi, Mark Silvestri, Michael Golden, Larry Stroman, Jim Lee, inked by Scott Williams. That's a fucking murderer's row.
Murderer's row of artists.
I love this issue at the time for that reason.
Yeah, me too.
Every part of it kicked ass.
Everyone's in here.
Yeah.
Everyone's in here. This looks like Will.
It is for sure.
This is Portaccio.
Yeah, that's all Will.
for sure. What does it start off with? Oh, we gotta have a panel that shows every single X-Man with their names on it, so you know who everyone is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you,
so
Chris Claremont.
key. Thank you, Chris Claremont, because there are so many people in your comics that we will easily forget who everyone is.
I love this panel too.
That's also Portaccio.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the height of
also digging the
his-
short hair storm.
Yes. This is at the height of his powers.
Yeah. That's a killer
Wilson was
lineup.
on fire.
This is Wilson's awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're
Now
we're
this is someone else.
Yeah, now we're into Michael Gold. Oh no,
that-
this is Jansen. Sorry,
Jansen, yeah.
this is Klaus.
It's gonna be fun to pick them all out. Yeah, this issue's so
This
cool.
is John Byrne now.
The Jim Lee pages in this episode, in this issue, are some of the coolest things ever. The coloring, the concept of this like dream sequence. This comic has one of the trippiest things I've ever seen, and Jim did it.
You know what's weird?
Is this Byrne?
That's Byrne, yeah.
This is Byrne.
But this is not. Who did this?
Is that still Jansen?
These look like Will's faces and limbs, but not all this. This might have just been jammed on by a bunch of people.
Well, who is the other? You're missing a name there.
Well,
who is the other name? There's one other guy you're missing.
Rick Leonardi, but that's not him.
Which one's Rick Leonardi?
Well, we'll get to it.
This is Byrne.
Yeah,
that's John Byrne for sure.
This
That's
is more-
John Byrne
this
for
is more
sure.
Byrne. You know what's cool is seeing
Yeah.
John Byrne draw Cable. That's interesting. to me.
Also, is it weird seeing John Byrne inked by Scott Williams?
I'm not convinced that this is John Byrne. I don't know, this might be still Jansen stuff.
I thought that was still Jansen.
Yeah, but like this looks kind of like a John Byrne face, and some of this mouth looks
Yes.
John Byrne. So let's say that's probably still.
But like
Jansen.
that's
This is Byrne.
definitely so cool. Super, super cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's Rick
Um,
Leonardi.
Yep,
This
there's
is all Leonardi.
Rick Leonardi. Yeah, that's super cool. Look at that. That's a great face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Banshee. I don't know, but that's my favorite part of all these old comics.
Oh, is this like a
Eventually they kind of like
hologram or something?
fade out or something. No, I think it's just a print.
No, it's intentional. She's like, this is like some
she's
kind of
fading.
hologram or
Oh, okay,
phase out.
I get it. Cannonball. There we go. Super cool.
That's Silvestri.
Oh, look at that shot of Psylocke. It's brilliant. Totally brilliant. Yeah, no wonder this Wolverine was so weird.
That's Michael Golden.
Yeah, it's Michael Golden. It's awesome though.
I love this.
Look at that. Is this Golden?
Yeah.
Look at that shot of Wolverine.
This whole page
That's
is
epic. That's one of the most epic X-Men pages ever. I wonder what that's worth. Like, I wonder what the original of that is worth. It must be wild. Albert has a lot of his work stuff, like his stuff too. So we should find it. Now we're getting to my favorite section of the comic,
So this
where
is
Jim Lee takes over, right here. This is one of the most epic scenes ever. Just this beautiful shot here. Like the gestures in it are amazing. But whoever came up with the idea of her, I guess she's using Cerebro, and she goes into this trippy pink and neons and blues. Oh, it is so far out.
He was great at doing these sort of like phantasm kind of like weird dream sequence things.
Yeah.
The Shadow King.
I never would have thought Jim Lee would do like such trippy work. And like it's just wild. Like whoever colored this sequence too is a genius. Like just genius level coloring.
Oh, Larry Stroman.
And then we're back to the stroke.
Love him.
Yep. Oh, look at that shot.
I love the shading on his face.
Yeah, that's great.
Larry Stroman's amazing.
What a great comic. This
Yep.
one is one of my favorites. What a banger.
Yep. So I want to look at this one for specific
yeah,
reasons.
you had a reason for this.
Yeah, the reason for
Yeah,
it
this
is
is,
because, look, I'm going to say something very
Miss
controversial
Marvel,
here.
yes.
Okay? Extremely
listening.
controversial.
Listening. Yeah.
I prefer Art Thibert inks on Jim Lee
Oh, to Scott Williams. Really?
Yeah.
Let's see why. Oh, okay. Wait. I know this issue.
Yeah,
is
this
this
like,
issue a bit racy?
well, yeah, this is
one's-
the first
yeah,
rogue in the
yeah.
what you call
Yeah.
it?
So who
Savage
we
Line.
got? We got Jim penciling, Art Thibert, guest inker. Ooh, they made sure you knew that.
I like Scott Williams a lot, but I like the quality of like.
That's very cute.
Yeah, it's super cute. I think Thibert's lines on Jim look more like Jim's own lines on.
Okay, that makes sense.
When he inks himself.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's less super rendered.
The
You know
eyes
what I
are.
mean?
He
It's
does
less
like such
hatchy.
bigger eyes. The eyes are like huge here. It's really cool.
I love this issue
Oh,
because
also.
more ninjas.
We need to do a ninja comic.
Yeah, we do.
Never before.
I had this
Never
skin.
before has a force of one been so powerful. That's awesome. Oh man, Rogue looks so cute in this one. Oh, look at this. Okay, so
Okay.
I know this issue very well.
Yeah.
This stuff I love.
Oh, yeah,
Anytime
yeah,
a comic does this with like Spider-Man, and it shows like the pieces of action, whether they're running on a rooftop past like water towers, or they're falling somewhere,
You get
or they're
multiple
about to do like
instances.
martial arts.
Yeah.
Whenever there's multiple shots like this, I just love it. I've done it plenty of times in my own work.
I think he
And-
does this a bunch in Hush too.
Oh, okay.
I also love this shot, this up shot.
Yeah. I never do these long panels. I should start.
Well, they're always
Never do
challenging.
them.
It's challenging to compose within a long.
Yeah, it's
vertical
really
panel.
hard to compose anything in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But
probably
they-
not bad for a talkie panel though. Oh.
Okay, this I was saying, like, you know, we're
That
gonna,
is
we're gonna
baller.
stop on every page here
Yeah,
and
that
gawk
is
at them.
baller.
But like, there's a ton of detail. Like this is the reavers.
Okay,
right?
also tank bottom.
Yeah.
I did that that rushed comic for Heavy Metal Magazine with Grant Morrison. Brilliant script, but I think what's his name from Ninja Turtles? Kevin Eastman was supposed to do the script. Quit early. This was for Heavy Metal Magazine, and I got to do it. And I had to show the first couple pages to Grant, and one of the first pages talked about like these bad guys coming into a market and like grabbing this mom and her kid. And the first thing I did was take one of the bad guys and turn him into a tank bottom. And when I showed the pages to Grant, Grant was like, "Awesome, yeah!" Like,
I don't remember that.
yeah. He liked tank bottom guy. Yeah. If I can ever make a guy into a tank bottom, I will. And now I'm watching Jim do tank bottom. I'm like, that's probably where I got it.
Probably.
Yep.
This is just Shakespearean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like
Completely.
this is like outside of Barry Windsor-Smith, like Jim Lee's this is probably the most iconic Lady Deathstrike stuff ever done, right?
Oh, completely. Yeah. Also, the pose is fantastic, man.
Even
Like,
even the little bits and bobs
See-
and color are Windsor-Smith. And like this is like all this shit here. That's just like Jim doing his Barry Windsor-Smith Deathstrike stuff, and it fucking works.
all these popped out panels of giant figures. That's the key. That's the magic. Like that's his power right there. That's Jim Lee's move. And people, it made him a legend, I think.
One of the things I love about this panel in particular, aside from everything, is that like you focus on this Lady Deathstrike shot, but then you realize that, oh, like there's a whole background here. Like Pierce is like in the background here on a computer looking at.
Oh, yeah,
pictures. Like
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even see that probably the first 3 times I read it.
Oh, that's crazy. Look at that shot of Miss Marvel. Okay, so here we go. Here comes Miss Marvel.
Yeah, so this is all about Rogue and her relationship with Ms. Marvel and kind of like
Captain Power.
introduction to the Savage Land. Like this space scene,
So good.
aliens. We're not supposed to know who this is, but we know who it is.
Oh yeah, we know who that is.
And here you go. This is like
Jim Lee getting ready for the Marvel swimsuit
This
issue.
is the beginning of the legendary Rogue in the Savage Land stuff, which is
Yep.
like its own industry now.
Yeah, we'll get into that issue next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is part of it, but
And that
like,
got into X-Men 97, how you're like, why is
you go.
Rogue hooking up with Magneto? This is why. Look at that shot. So cool.
you know how this issue ends. Do you remember?
Is that Brood? is it one of the
no,
Brood?
that's like some other Shadow King creep.
Ugh.
I like this Polaris too.
Yeah, that
Is that
Polaris is
Polaris?
amazing.
I think.
Amazing. Oh, wicked.
I love these boots, like these kind of tied up boots.
Yeah, these kind of weird tied up boots.
I like that he's also doing this kind of like this kind of experimental rendering on these faces.
Okay, so this is Barry Windsor-Smith right here.
Yeah, a lot of
Right?
this issue is
this whole
like, I think
panel is like a Barry Windsor-Smith panel.
yeah, all this tech and
yeah,
the colors.
tech. That's how I know is that the color and the shape of the tech in this one is pure Barry Windsor-Smith. So a lot of the 272 must have been Barry Windsor-Smith, especially those portraits that he was influenced by, like having all the tech come on them from, you know, the cover of Wolverine where all the bits and bobs are coming into him, like from Barry Windsor-Smith. This is a Barry Windsor-Smith cover.
Do you think that
mixed
was
with a little bit of Art Adams?
Do you think that was a note to the colorist to say, hey, just look at Weapon X and color?
And I
all
mean,
this
at the
stuff?
time, that colorist was probably all over it. That colorist was probably like, oh yeah, let's get that Barry Windsor-Smith action here.
Look at those speed
It also
lines.
has like the calm quietness of a Barry Windsor-Smith panel. You know, like Barry Windsor-Smith had a lot of like calm, serene like panels a lot. It wasn't always just exploding action.
I don't know, I can't pinpoint exactly when it happened, but a lot of the rendering that we associate with like 90s comics and inking comes from people trying to do what Barry Windsor-Smith was doing,
Yeah.
right? Like all that like angular cross-hatching, that's all I think like people trying to do a Windsor-Smith thing. And like, and in Jim's case, it just seems to evolve into like a
You think Art
a
Adams
core
was
part of-
influenced by that?
No, I don't, doesn't, not, it's not evident to me.
Yeah.
But like
Oh, by
all
the
these
way-
other guys.
By the way, when I was in New York, last night I went for, me and Frank Thierry went for a giant Chinese feast with Jimmy and their buddy Nelson and Amanda, right? And I got up, and who was sitting at the table next to us? Art Adams. And he remembered who I was from the thing. Yeah.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
like,
you
hey, Andy,
said
what's
hi.
up? I was like, hey,
you
hey
melted
Art
again.
Adams. Hey, Art Adams.
Aaron Adams, we have
Yeah.
your,
I'm
we
getting
have your
old now
artwork.
too. My beard is turning gray, but like it's still like some of these guys like, because I know he's really tight with Yannick.
Yeah.
And Yannick, when I was in that San Francisco show that I was telling you about, Carl Potts, in our first episode, Yannick would go out for dinners with Art Adams, and I wasn't allowed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have brought you along either. You should you just
No.
embarrass yourself
No.
and everyone else.
I went out for dinner with Tony Harris. Me and Tony Harris went out for steak dinners.
You probably had a great time.
Yes. But I didn't get to go with Art Adams. But like, I was very happy that at New York Comic Con, Art Adams knew who I was.
Who are we
That was
seeing on the
really
last
exciting.
page of this comic?
Dun dun dun, Schmagneto.
Again, this is, first of all, an amazing picture of Magneto, but really kind of just echoing what John Byrne had done
Yes.
in his run where like they revealed
Also,
Magneto.
Kirby hand.
Yeah.
Kirby Crackle-ish.
Is this
I'm
the
doing
best
some
Jim
Kirby.
Lee Magneto? I'm gonna
Nope,
give it. I'm
it's
gonna
not.
give it to this one.
Nope.
I'll take this
No,
one.
no. It's not. It's the next one. It's the next one. Let's get into the Savage Land with Magneto
Oh.
hooking up with Rogue.
One of the things I love about this issue.
Is Nick Fury blowing smoke out.
No, one of the things I love about this issue.
Kazar's beautiful
is,
hair. Like he's got short hair, but the longest ponytail you've ever seen. Now we're getting into 90s top knot territory with ponytails. We're getting into ponytail territory.
Let's just call it the Shatterstar.
The Shatterstar. Do you remember when everyone started to have the Shatterstar?
Yeah.
And in real life too. Like this is like Steven Seagal
Yeah.
started having a ponytail. I remember, and then it started to get into like early mid 90s.
I had a ponytail.
I had a ponytail. Yeah. All
The
my friends had
Shatterstar
ponytails.
resonated.
Yeah.
No, what I was gonna say is you get this script. Is this what you're gonna?
There it is. That is my favorite Jim Lee shot of Magneto.
Yeah.
Why is it my favorite? Because it looks exactly like the shot of Punisher from Punisher
exactly
War
the
Journal
same
number
angle.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that not look it's like the same thing. He's like, I'm gonna do my Punisher War Journal shot, like, but with Magneto holding his cape. Like that's it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly. It's like one of his moves. It's like
a signature move.
It's a signature move, like in wrestling. Like it's.
But this one's better, but
Yes.
partly because like you're reinforcing this
Whoa,
angle.
are you saying it's better than the Punisher?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
but
think so.
you're reinforcing it with like all
Hang
of
on,
this,
sorry,
the
audience, I gotta
surrounding-
flip this. Oh, it's damn good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's better.
It is really good. I think that's my favorite shot of Magneto.
What I was going to say is this issue gets you Jim inking himself on those cool like
Oh, yeah.
splatter pages of
Yeah, right.
Magneto being
Totally.
like remembering the Holocaust.
Yep.
So this is all Rogue Savage Land stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah. And what happens in this issue?
There's
This
like
is where it all
there's
comes
like
from,
a
people.
war going on.
More
but
on
then
that.
but then you get that
More on
kick-ass Zaladane introduction,
Yep.
which is coming up.
Oh,
Here she is.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh yeah, remember when his pants could fall off? Remember, his power is so crazy, his pants fall off?
Yeah, he's naked
Yeah.
here.
Oh, no, his clothes are coming
Yeah, they're
on.
coming
He has the
on,
power
yeah.
to make his clothes come on through magnetism. So he's like here, and he's hooking up with Rogue, because of his power, he can hook up with Rogue, and then he uses his power just to like make his costume show up.
I'm curious as to whether Jim inked this stuff himself, because it's
I don't
kind
know.
of
That looks like Barry Windsor-Smith, man.
kind of
It's like Barry Windsor-Smith showed up to the studio that day.
It would be great if Magneto was so powerful that all his clothes.
No, I think what would have been great is if Magneto like expelled so much energy when he got here, but he only made it to here.
Yeah, I didn't have
Like,
quite enough energy to finish these legs.
I've been making love like Sting for 4 weeks to Rogue, and now I only have the power to get my costume to come.
Costume is just
the bicycle shorts.
Bicycle shorts, yeah.
That's amazing.
Here we go.
Yep.
This is just a lot of fighting. I'm not so interested in
super
this.
Fighting. But
This just looks like a lot of work.
This stuff's so fun.
Oh,
Fighting dinosaurs.
but now we're gonna get back to the
Oh,
X-Men.
there he is. And this is when they all had that weird costume.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked when they brought back that kind of classic costume. Early Forge.
Oh, Forge, what's getting all over you, man?
Oh, that's like
Green goop.
yeah. They all get
Wolverine's
gooped here.
having none of it.
There you go.
Oh,
That's not
so
Zaladane, it's Deathbird. But there were
Deathbird.
Zaladane things in there. Yeah. So just back to back,
Yep.
great stuff happening in these. What is this? 274. Then you get
275 giant issue. This
First
thing,
of all, did we have-
and the beginning of
Did you have this poster?
yes, I did.
Let's just look. Let's just glory
This
in this.
was so if
Just
you know
bask in
about
this
the X-Men Rebirth, when they have the even I think it's one more on the gatefold. Was this Jim Lee's first? This is Jim Lee's first gatefold.
to my knowledge. I
To
know
my
he
knowledge,
did
yes.
a triptych
Yeah.
poster that I also had a poster of, but it was I think it predated this because like stylistically it looked a bit earlier.
And all of these work as a cover, but it is super, super cool.
Yep.
And who do we have on page 1? The Starjammers.
Yeah. Starjammers looking amazing.
Yeah, Starjammers are awesome. Open that up to that
Just
giant spread.
Jumping.
Boom.
Oh.
Look at that ship.
Yeah.
That is some Macross level. Oh.
Look at these
It
crazy
is-
curved.
Where is he getting this? Is he just sitting around watching? Did he go to Japan and buy a bunch of manga and like sitting around watching anime? Like,
Well, this is
this is unreal. This reminds me of some Nausicaa shit. Like,
it's
where did
actually
he
like
get
this. This curvature stuff looks
Alien?
looks like aliens.
yeah.
But what I'm wondering is how much of that, like I remember saying,
I've
you
never
said in
seen-
part 1, how much was Carl Alstetter drawing of some of the tech in these? I don't know. I'd love to know. Like maybe if this is all Jim or if I know
That
he
is
had
like the
some
coolest thing
assistants.
that's ever been in a Jim Lee comic.
This is super cool.
That ship.
I
Yeah.
also love this. Like, let's just name all the X-Men here first
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
in the preamble, and then we'll turn the page.
Unreal. Oh, look at Wolverine grabbing Deathbird. You're in trouble, bud.
Yep. And then, oh, these are so good.
So good.
I like
really,
I like the
really
yellow
cool.
and blue suits. Did people not like them?
I always thought his anatomy started to get funky here. Like this doesn't really work.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I think that looks as good as everything else. Where? It's definitely getting hatchier.
It's getting
you
hatchery.
can see a lot more
yeah,
lines.
but these like his forearms and his hands should be like way smaller. Like it looks a little funky.
No, it seems to jive.
Anyway,
with the
whatever.
rest of it.
This is amazing.
I love this.
What's her name again?
Lilandra.
Lilandra. Yeah. Just brilliant. Is this the one where he takes the helmet off?
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
We looked at this briefly in the last episode.
That is a beautiful double page spread.
Yeah. Here's everybody's name.
Gladiator. Everyone's named. You know who everyone is. Where's Wolverine? Is he in there?
I think he might have been kind of taken out
Oh,
of
he was
the, out of the
taken
fight
out.
before.
Yeah.
He was having a rough go of it a few pages ago. Here he is, beat up.
Oh, yeah. He's got his costume all burnt off. His chest showing. I guess it is a thing with Wolverine. He's always losing his shirt. So that you see his hairy chest.
There's a lot of characters to draw in every
Yeah,
panel of
look
this
at
book.
that. Brrr. I'm working on a zombie book right now where it's like that. There's like, these two guys and a horde of zombies. Every panel. Look at all this. Like every panel has way too many people. That's a nightmare to draw. Also, how dope are these silhouette helicopters?
Yeah. Jim's depiction of short hair Storm in these issues looks very John Byrne.
Yeah, yeah. Wicked shot of Magneto flying.
Now we're back to the Savage Land, and we're going to get to, look at these.
What a cross between, hanging out with the Shi'ar and the Starjammers to now we're on, like...
Here's what I was talking about.
Oh, that's so weird.
This is like, I'm pretty sure Jim inking himself and splotching
It's a
paint
weird
this
page.
stuff. I love this stuff. This looks like he just went in there with a Sharpie or something.
Oh, yeah.
And this stuff.
Yep.
This like hard, thick, chunky shading.
Oh, it's so weird. Awesome. Whoever colored this, you're my hero. That's some ballsy, weird business right there. Oh, great shot of Rogue fighting a Tyrannosaurus.
I don't think that's Rogue. I think it's a rando.
That's Rogue. Look at her hair.
No.
She's got the streak.
Okay.
But then again, is that Rogue? I can't tell.
That's Rogue.
Maybe there's a bunch of Rogues.
Things are getting, lines are getting thinner here.
Yeah. Things are getting weird. I feel like there might have been some deadline issues here.
I don't know. It's a lot of drawing.
Yeah. It's a ton of drawing. But who inked this?
I'm assuming Scott Williams.
Mm. Some of them, it looks like, you have a different, look at this,
There's 12 panels on this page.
Oh my God.
There's a lot.
That's a lot. Someone was going bonkers.
And every panel is full of people.
This, by the way, these issues.
So beautiful.
Wow, that's gorgeous. These issues take a while to read.
Yeah.
This is you sit down for a couple hours and really soak it in because this stuff takes a bit. Who's this with Wolverine?
Just an alien girl.
Huh.
Who's getting it on with some alien.
Crazy. Fantastic.
But
there
fun,
he is.
wasn't there a
Professor
sequence
X.
where he's slowly taking the helmet off?
Oh, I thought so.
Oh, maybe he did that already.
Maybe he did it already.
Anyway, I like that. I like that. Also in this run, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
We're in space. There's some creepy, slimy tunnels. We're in the Savage Land.
Claremont's just going crazy in this one.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I told you. But again, I think it has a lot to do with Jim wanting to just revisit a lot of the stuff that he loved when he was buying X-Men.
So 275. Where does Jim end?
I don't know. We didn't. Even
What else do we got here?
There's a lot of stuff we haven't.
I know we have all of them.
Holy crap!
We have this whole run.
I just opened this. This was also very.
Is that Jim Lee?
Yeah, this is earlier. This is also very Mignola, but I wanted to just look at it because there's some badass Wolverine. Look at this stuff.
Whoa, that's wild. That's so wild. Oh, yeah, he's still going. We got a 277 here.
We're skipping around here, but
yeah, we're still. I mean, he's still rocking. He still has. We're still on the same storyline. This is 277, right?
Yep. Oh, this is
Look
a
at
great
that.
spread
Look at that ship. That is unbelievable.
Who's coloring this? Because there's some really great. Joe Rosas? Is it Joe Rosas? These are some awesome colors.
Oh, here's 276. Yeah, you're on 277. This is 276. Continuation of where we were. We got Jubilee and Gambit. Still some amazing work.
Move over here a bit.
But I mean, we are getting very close to the issue 1 rebirth.
The 276, I think he did 3 or 4 more issues.
Yeah, we have 277. He's definitely on.
Then the relaunch.
I think we're relaunch at X-Men #1. And
what I'm astounded by is it's the level of consistency across this run. There's no slowing down here. This is
No, this is some of the most exciting comics that you can read. I was absolutely blown away in this era. Jim Lee has pieces of Barry Windsor-Smith, Art Adams. I would say Atomo. There's definitely manga influence in these books. Wouldn't you say? There's definitely compared to the other guys. Look at just this bananas panel. Look at the guns.
It's a great composition too.
This guy was just on fire. Unbelievable. It's gorgeous. Look at this panel layout.
Mm.
His layouts were getting crazy too. Just, man.
I don't know, Professor Xavier's in trouble again.
Yep. This was like Claremont, Jim Lee, full blast.
Where are we here?
This is peak Jim Lee. This is 276. 277.
What were his...
And I don't think we have a 278 here.
Well, and there was like Extinction Agenda stuff we didn't look at. I mean, there's a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't even looked at everything.
272 was the last piece of that story.
We
really.
looked at that one.
Yeah, we did this guy.
I'm
was
trying to
277.
find like some of the later stuff, like 279. I don't know why I don't have them here. Maybe
I thought they must be in your box
They're
because
probably
we
in the
have
box.
them all.
Anyway,
Yeah. Oh, great shot of Gambit here in 277.
let's take a quick look.
Yeah, go to the big books.
Let's wrap this up.
We're gonna wrap it up.
We're not going to get into the
Rebirth.
relaunched X-Men series.
Let's go relaunch and then image.
Yeah, but what I want to look at here is I want to kind of look at some of his black and white pages and
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at,
I want to see the inking up close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's that shot,
Yeah,
right? You were
my
like, is this
favorite
the
one.
best? The
Not
best
your
Magneto?
favorite
Not
one.
my favorite one. Not my Magneto.
That's from X-Men #1.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
that's from 248,
Yeah.
or not 248, 260, whatever it is, the Captain America one.
Did IDW put this book out? Yes, they did.
Yep.
Yeah, this is Scott Dunbier. Crazy.
There's Slaymaster.
There he is. We were just looking at this issue. Yep.
So this
Whoa.
is interesting. So this is from his first issue.
Yeah.
This
we,
is the
we
Dan
already
Green
went through
stuff.
this one. Yeah.
Like you can, I'm interested in the difference in line choice and line quality. Like look how loose.
also,
loosely he
these
laid down
weren't
some
done
of
with
the
a
things.
ruler.
No, it looks like
No, they just did it by
looks
hand.
like he just
Yep.
hand drew it. More Dan Green,
Beautiful.
and that didn't.
Look at this
Scott
weirdness.
Williams.
It's all turned yellow.
Mhm.
So crazy.
This is the Whilce Portacio stuff. I'm not sure why it's in this Art of Jim Lee.
Oh
book,
yeah, that's
but
weird.
Still cool to see.
I love this paste up.
Yeah.
It's crazy that this era they're still doing paste ups.
This is more Whilce.
Yeah.
This is more Whilce. Oh, he gets a lot
Yeah,
of
what's
pages.
going
in
on?
here.
Let's skip ahead a bit. Let's get out of this Wills scenario. There's Cap. Oh, look at this stuff. I love how it's all like turning like weird colors the older it gets.
Mhm.
Oh.
So here, these are the RT Bear pages.
Yeah, right here.
Like this looks like, it looks like, I don't know.
This is Kirby Crackle.
Yeah,
This
it
is like his version of Kirby Crackle, but I'm gonna add this like gray tone / hatching part to my version of the Kirby Crackle.
I'm just trying to, not defend, but kind of, I'm trying to understand for myself
This is pasted
why
in too.
yeah, all these titles would be, why I like Thibert's inks on Jim. And I think there's a bluntness to the line
Yeah.
that I'm kind of into.
Yeah.
Like it's not as sharp.
Oh, that shot of Rogue. So cool. Look at this leg. I never do this.
Yeah, it's
I've
scary.
never done that. I'm just gonna like straight line that shadow on that leg. I would just black that out
Yeah.
or not do it at all. There's your page. Dun dun dun. There's your
Look at the whiteout for the highlights here.
Oh yeah.
Neat.
I'm surprised I didn't change colors. Look at this. It's all turning yellow. Wacky.
There you go.
Oh, this is from my comic.
This is, yeah. This
272.
we spent a lot of time.
There it is. We spent a
looking at
lot of time
in
on
the
this
last
one.
episode.
Why is this one's all turning yellow too for some reason? I don't know why. The paste ups are turning yellow. But if you see there's like weird yellow fixative in spots, but like even this turned all yellow for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And these are like all yellow. I don't know what happened to this page.
I like that Forge gets a mention here, even though he's not present.
This is some sort of damage.
Who knows?
Or
Maybe it's a chemical, or maybe it's like sun.
Was it the glue from like paste ups or something that like caused everything to get like weirdly yellow?
You know who should ask?
Scott Dunbier.
I was gonna say Albert.
Oh, there it is. Look at it in all its glory. These 2 pages.
See, there's a very sharp, fine line,
Super fine lines.
like nib line here on this thing, and I gotta
this
say,
is size S. This is the size it was drawn.
This is shot from the actual size, and I gotta tell you, like, I prefer this on the newsprint.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Like everything softens.
That looks like quill. That looks like quill.
Everything softens a little bit on the newsprint, and it looks better.
It does look better.
This is too sharp.
There it is.
Yeah.
These are all my favorite pages.
There it is.
Back to back, all my favorite pages. It's crazy. Oh, Deathbird. Look at the weird. Oh, that's kind of a bummer.
All just like adhesive stuff, right?
I'm kind of bummed out about it.
Here's your Starjammers.
Yeah.
There's way more Zipatone in here than
way more than I thought. Like
that's a neat choice.
Is that
highlight?
Is that Magneto? Because that sure looks like Punisher.
No, that's Magneto.
Yeah.
I like seeing these at the actual size because like it kind of gives you like, if you're working on a page, an 11 by 17 page, you can see exactly like how thick or thin these lines were when they were drawn. You can see exactly how like tall the lettering was, what the spacing was. Like you could model your entire setup after this.
Yeah.
Storm.
Oh, these are great.
Anyway, so
there we go.
We're not going to get into this is the triptych I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Why don't we just end on this?
Yeah. Let's. Ooh. Oh, there it is.
We won't talk about that right now.
Let's just
give you a preview.
A little tease.
Not that everyone in the
We're
world
going to do this
hasn't
next
seen
time. The relaunch of X-Men, the comic that this is, I believe, 8 million. 8 million copies.
8 million copies.
We're going to get into this next time.
This transitioning to Image.
Yes.
And Jim Lee Part 3, but I think we have.
This is a great triptych too. Look at this Wolverine.
Yeah, I had a poster of this.
Yeah,
look at how different the faces are.
Yeah. Who inked it?
I liked it. It's probably Williams again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But just like the drawing is different, you know. Like it's just.
Look at the wild business on Colossus.
This was the other end of the triptych. Let's end on this, because this is like. This is where Jim Lee kind of got going.
Yep.
On X-Men.
Beautiful.
We could gush about every issue, but I think we've kind of done it here, right? Like, we have a lot more to say about Jim, but we need more episodes in which to do it.
Yeah, we've got the relaunch, we've got Image, and we've got Hush. Yeah. We knew that Jim was going to take a while for us, just because of, like, I remember like the Wednesdays I knew Jim Lee's comics were coming out, I'd be waiting for the store to open.
I had
even if I had school, like
I'd
be waiting for school.
My pull list was like my pull list said like anything by Jim Lee.
Yep.
That's what they were to hold for me.
Yep. Unbelievable, unbelievable, and this book just keeps going.
Yeah, but now we're into X-Men number.
Yeah. And that is Jim Lee Part 2.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We went from Punisher and the beginning of some of our favorite X-Men issues in Part 1. Part 2, we actually deep dove into looking at the art in Part 2 and Part 3.
Now I have to go make some actual comics.
Yes, we have to make some actual comics.
Yeah.
Some Death Transit and some Mother Trucker. That's the end of Part 2, Jim Lee.
Till next time.
Later, buddy.